Sega!
소닉 TV
Alright, just like I said last time, we're going to be taking a look at Sonic Adventure today. Sonic Adventure is one of my favourite games of all time, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And the development history behind it, of how it went from being a Sonic & Knuckles RPG to a 3D platformer that featured like 18 different characters because that was just the style at the times. It's a very fascinating one, but I'm not going to get into the development history. Not yet anyway. However, Sonic Adventure is one of the most important games in the Sonic franchise just because of what it meant. And even games to today are trying to capture that magic. That's right, Sonic Frontiers, I'm looking at you. Anyway, enough about the preamble. Let's start with the plot of Sonic Adventure, and oh god is it! It is. Anyway, we start on Angel Island with Knuckles protecting the Master Emerald, something he really should get back to doing at some point, or maybe not given the way Frontiers is going. However, Eggman comes in and destroys the Master Emerald. From the remains of the Master Emerald sprout out an Ancient. Nah, I'm kidding, it's Chaos, the god of destruction, who's able to easily wipe Knuckles out. However, now free from escaping with Angel Island having fallen to the ground, Chaos goes from the Mystic Ruins to Station Square, on the way having his tail eaten by a frog. This will become important later, I swear to god. Now, once in Station Square, we get to see what a good old boy in blue is doing. Sonic's just hanging around in the city, goes to deal with Chaos, and then decides, fuck it, I won't look into that any further. He then goes to take a nap in some hotel. The next day, Tails shows up in a biplane, crashes into the beach, and Sonic must go get him. At the same time, Knuckles has begun the hunt for the Master Emerald Shards. Once Sonic and Tails meet up, they decide to go to the Mystic Ruins to steal the Chaos Emerald or something, and when they get there, they find Eggman. Now, Eggman has gotten there because... well, I don't know why he's there yet. But once Sonic and Tails take down his machine, Tails comes running over with the Chaos Emerald, the stupid little shit, and because of that, the Chaos Emerald is taken by Dr. Eggman. It is then given to Chaos, who then mutates, because this isn't the lore of the Ancients I was presented in Frontiers. But once with the Chaos Emerald, they leave, Eggman proclaiming that he will get all the Chaos Emeralds to feed to Chaos. Sonic and Tails decide absolutely fucking not, and try to go get the Chaos Emeralds for themselves. After a little while, Sonic and Tails manage to get the Chaos Emeralds. However, Eggman manages to take one of them and goes into the hotel after knocking them out. Knuckles follows him into the hotel, where Eggman shows off Chaos to Knuckles. After they fight, and Chaos gets another upgrade, Eggman proclaims that Sonic and Tails are after the Chaos Emeralds. So, despite being tricked like 17 times by Eggman at this point in the canon, Knuckles decides, yeah, they probably are after it. And after another hunting bit, he manages to find Sonic and Tails, who have a green Chaos Emerald just out in the open. Did you guys not learn anything from last time? So they fight, Eggman takes the Chaos Emerald for himself, gives it to Chaos, now Chaos is Chaos 4, he has to battle this damn fight 3 goddamn times. And then he takes off into his egg carrier. Sonic and Tails give chase, Eggman blows the tornado up, sending Sonic and Tails hurtling towards different areas, Tails into the Mystic Ruins, Sonic into Station Square. And while Tails has a nice but rushed character arc about remembering that he has to do everything himself, Sonic finds Amy, who is guarding a bird that a robot is being chased after. Amy asks for Sonic's protection, Sonic says ooh girl cooties and runs off. However, once he loses Amy, he then realizes maybe he does care about Amy, and tries to find her by running through the best level in the game. And while all this is happening, Eggman has sent out his elite robots to try and find Froggy, Big's pet frog friend who Chaos has attached himself to. This gave Froggy a tail, and now everybody's after it, including Big the cat himself. All stories collide aboard the egg carrier once Tails has rebuilt the biplane, as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and Gamma, Big, and Eggman are all there. Amy has been kidnapped from Zero. Sonic and Tails try to rescue her. Knuckles finds the final few pieces of the Master Emerald, and Gamma's just being a subservient robot. And Big is fucking fishing. After Sonic and Tails fight Gamma, Amy stops them, proclaims that Gamma's her friend. Sonic just agrees, and then the ship starts to lose altitude for no goddamn reason. Tails takes Amy down Station Square while Sonic chases after Eggman, and after letting Big go fishing for Froggy, then takes out Chaos. Knuckles then meets up with Sonic, just as Sonic leaves to go and track down Eggman. However, aboard the egg character, Chaos 6 still remains. And because of this, Knuckles takes him down, takes the Chaos Emeralds, and gets the fuck out of there. In Station Square, Jesus Christ, this thing never ends. In Station Square, Tails finds Dr. Eggman, and while being afraid, because he's just been the sidekick the entire series, decides to step up and chase down the Doctor himself, going through Speed Highway to stop a fucking nuke from going off. Why wasn't this plan 1 instead of unleashing the God of Destruction? Anyway, he sets off a nuke, it's a dud, Tails manages to disarm it, save Station Square, then Eggman comes in sounding actually menacing for once. Jeez, I love the way that Dean Bristow does his voice.
I will make you all pay for this.
Let's get out of here!
You fool. Away, before I make mincemeat out of you.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I can do this!
Tails decides it's time that he starts believing himself. He takes down Eggman and flies off in victory. Knuckles returns to Angel Island and places the Master Emerald back together before pondering his existence once again. Amy manages to find the bird, but around the same time that Gamma has realised that he has to kill himself if he wants to let the Flicky out, because I forgot to mention it because this story is so goddamn complex. But after the fight with Sonic and Tails aboard the egg carrier, Gamma decides to free the Flickies inside of his robot brethren by killing them. Going back to what I was saying before I got off on a tangent, Gamma releases the Flicky within. Amy finds out Flicky within Gamma was actually her birdie's fucking parents or something. I don't know anymore, man. However, the birdie gets attacked by Zero. Amy finally takes it down and just talks about how Sonic's gonna have to run circles around her to keep up, which even by the next game is forgotten about. What the fuck, Sonic Team? And finally is Sonic, who after discovering the true power of Chaos if he gathers all 7 Chaos Emeralds, has one last encounter with Eggman. And while all stories seem wrapped up, there's still the fact that the 7th Chaos Emerald is locked within the biplane in that big stall because Jesus Christ, how many moving parts there to this story. And so just a little while after everybody's story is wrapped up, Angel Island has fallen again. Sonic and Tails go investigate, find out that Eggman and Knuckles have been taken down by Chaos, who has stolen the 6 Chaos Emeralds. They attempt to go and find the last Chaos Emerald, but there, they find that Chaos has already beat them to it, meaning he now has all 7 Chaos Emeralds, becoming perfect Chaos. However, despite everything going to shit and the Chaos Emeralds being completely drained, Tails talks about how he's only absorbed the negative energy of the Chaos Emeralds and how there's still positive energy left of the Chaos Emeralds. Sonic takes that positive energy, becomes Super Sonic, and beats down Perfect Chaos while this awesome track plays. And with that, all's well that ends well. Tikal, who is a Knuckles relative, because Jesus Christ, I forgot to mention that Knuckles kept on going back in. That Tikal brought everybody back in time, even Big, who is completely unimportant to this story and in no way benefits from knowing this information. Anyway, Tikal shows up. This proclaims that, well, now that Chaos has been neutralized, they can both move on to the afterlife, even if the Frontiers prologue says Tikal is still around. We can get into the Frontiers retcons when we get there. Anyway, with the story done, Sonic runs off into the adventure, and I gotta ask, what the hell is this story? It's so complex and intertwined that on the one hand, I like it because it's complex and it gives me a lot to think about. On the other hand, I have to be reminded of the fact that I have to go fishing or play as Amy to get through this. Which I guess brings me on to the gameplay. Now, this game plays great when you're playing as Sonic, Knuckles, or Gamma. But Tails, Big, and Amy have wildly different gameplay styles, and they're all for different reasons. First up is Sonic, and his gameplay is a direct one-to-one continuation of the classics, as it's the only time that momentum plays a massive part in a Sonic game. If you go downhill, you gain speed, you go uphill, you lose speed. And Sonic has a brand new homing attack, allowing him to chain onto enemies that definitely won't be used for easy, simplistic level design later on. If you know, you know. Anyway, then it's Tails, who can fly and has to race Sonic because flying fucking breaks 3D levels. Just take a look at this shit.
You should be able to find a shortcut if you fly. Try and find it.
Knuckles keeps his gliding and climbing from the classics, but now is in treasure hunting stages, which fits the gliding and climbing for Knuckles way more than an open 3D level would. Because an open 3D level as shown by Sonic 06, you can just glide through everything. It makes the levels pointless. After that is Amy, who is kind of a survival horror. Like, I'm partially joking, but the way that the first level plays out, it definitely feels like they're going for more of a horror vibe, at least in the beginning with Amy. But she's slow, has a hammer swing that does fucking nothing. Oh wait, no wait, compared to Sonic 06 it actually does great. And is fairly acrobatic. If they played more into the acrobatic side like they did with Sonic Boom of all games, then I think this gameplay style would have been a lot better. But as it is, it's just kind of slow and has light puzzle solving elements. After that is Big, who just fishes. That's it. That's Big's entire contribution to this game. The reason for this is just something as simple as, well, they wanted to have slower paced sections for the game. And I get that, but that's what you made Amy for. I'm glad Big stuck around because he really is a fun character. Hell, he even outlived Cream and Cheese. Because they're never coming back, are they, Sonic Forces? Anyway, finally is Gamma, who I think is probably the second best way of doing 3D shooting in a Sonic game. It's fast paced, the robot allows for a big variety of different abilities that you can have, such as the gliding. The vehicle modes are fun and interesting, and overall I just think Gamma's a neat character, and I'm glad that they only ever brought him back once. And even when they did, his plot importance was basically nothing. Quick correction, I meant twice, I completely forgot about Sonic Battle. And finally is Super Sonic, which is just basically a victory lap. But you do gain more speed if you stay airborne, which is a nice little bit of back and forth between trying to defeat Perfect Chaos and trying to keep a ring count going, because you run out of rings, you die. No, you don't die, you just revert back to regular Sonic, and then if you're on a piece of land, you'll stand there. If you're not, you'll die. This did start the trend of Super Sonic being a Final Boss exclusive, but I'm fine with it for now because you can play the PC version with mods. I find that Super Sonic absolutely would not work in regular levels because he's just too fast. And then there's the Chao. What are the Chao? Cute little creatures that you have to raise and then race. I didn't put much time into them here, this is not much to say on my end, but I remember loving this for hours when I was a kid. But now I have more game opportunities than just Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, so I don't have time for them anymore. Especially since the original Sonic Adventure's Chao system was very primitive by SA2 standards. Which is why I'm glad with DX they brought in a lot of the... Which is why with the DX they brought in a lot of the SA2 functionality, which is fine enough by me. That then brings the conversation over to the way to play this game. Now there are many versions of ways to play this game, but I personally go with the PC version, because I don't own a Dreamcast. Because the DX Director's Cut version is a butchered, bastardized port of the game. What do I mean by this? Well, the Dreamcast version, while buggy, wasn't, say, clipped through a wall accidentally running a loop-de-loop buggy. Now, I've never encountered this on my 360 version of the game, because the Game Grumps like to fake things. But with each port of the game, it's clear less and less time was being put into each port, to the point where the PC version is a port of the 360 PS3 version, which is a port of the original 2004 PC version, which is a port of the GameCube version, which is a enhanced port of the Dreamcast version. You port a game this many times, glitches are bound to become more abundant. And because each time they ported it, the budget likely got less and less, I can see why it would get that fucked up. Hell, the subtitle Director's Cut doesn't even make sense, because the original director of the game, Takashi Iizuka, didn't even work on Director's Cut because he was too busy killing himself to get Sonic Heroes out the door. But if you play the PC version, you can get better SADX, which gives the game widescreen, which, why the fuck did they sell this game in 2011 without widescreen? As well as being able to mod the game to do things like give you the original Dreamcast models back, which I don't do, but I do keep the Dreamcast texturing and lighting, because DX, for some reason, changed around textures and lighting when it wasn't even necessary. What the fuck are you doing, guys? Which now brings us around to the presentation of the game. Again, I think the Dreamcast version has the best visuals. I say this because the blocky character models just feel more authentic to me than the inspired by SA2 models they went for in DX, where I can't even tell that they changed Amy or Big because they just gave him more polygons, and they just didn't enhance Eggman at all, who was the one character who severely needed the enhancements. Music-wise though, this game is the best soundtrack out of any Sonic game bar none. The variety in this game is just magnificent. Do you guys see what I mean? And that's not even to get into like the character theme songs, where Sonic's got "It Doesn't Matter."
It doesn't matter now what happens, I will never give up the fight. There is no way I will run away from all of my prize. As long as the force inside me says go, I will always keep on running. There is no way to stop me from going to the very top. It doesn't matter who is wrong or who is right.
Tails has got "Believe in Myself."
When I'm alone in my chair, I just go about wishing I wanna be strong. I really wanna be trusted. When I'm alone in my bed, I just go about yearning. I wanna be cool. I also wanna be like him, but that's not something I can do so easily. This is not simply my way, my style. Gotta get a hold of my life.
Knuckles has the rap "Unknown" from Any.
Here I come, rougher than the rest of them, the best of them, tougher than leather. You can call me Knuckles. Unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle. I'd rather flex my muscles. I'm hard as nails. It ain't hard to tell. I break them down whether they solid or frail. Unlike the rest, I'm independent since my first breath. First test, feel the right, then the worst left. Born on an island in the heavens. The blood of my ancestors flows inside me. My duty is to save the flower from evil deterioration. Yeah, I will be
Amy has the pop song "My Sweet Passion," which is really creepy considering she's 12, talking about a 15-year-old, which I guess could be weird the other way. Big has just the best theme song of all time.
Oh, it's a windy and sunny day, and I can hear the faint sound of distant waves. The past weeks have been gone by so fast. It's all the same, the bright sky and shining sun. I have a feeling it's gonna be a fun day.
Gamma has a song that makes me cry every time because it's so just hauntingly mellow with the piano and synth. Eggman's theme is a theme song, I will give it that. And then the Supersonic with Open Your Heart, which lyrically is a fucking nightmare. But I gotta tell you, man, the moment I heard Open Your Heart, it just hit different.
Open your heart, it's gonna be alright. Yeah. Open your heart. Open your heart.
And I suppose that summarizes the entire game. It just hits different because this game wasn't trying to just be Sonic 3 and Knuckles all over again. It was trying to do its own thing. It was trying to be bigger and better than the last game. And for that, I've gotta give it credit. It managed to do just that. But this momentum would definitely not last, as you'd expect the sequel to have more people working on it, but the development team went from around 300 to just 60. Time crunches, and it's a whole mess. I'll get into it when we get to Sonic Adventure 2. But until then, take care and peace. Bye!